Of the beta, they're almost letting us play everything when it comes to Modern Warfare 4. Yesterday, they teased that we'd get 2 surprises today, and then they delivered. Those surprises being a playable campaign mission called Entrenched, and then a new Warzone Resurgence map called Zodiac. So it's not going to be just multiplayer anymore, and we had this before with zombies, but this is kind of an interesting thing where they're going to have the multiplayer campaign and Warzone all in one beta, and this is kind of what it's going to look like. The first weekend is going to be this Thursday coming up on the 21st. We're going to have the Call of Duty next, which I will be streaming. It's going to include core 6v6 gameplay, kill block gameplay, Warzone intel, so we won't probably be playing Warzone there. First look at Zodiac, so we'll get some flybys and stuff like that. More than 1,000 global creators and community players. That'll include me. And then we got the developer insights, as well as launch maps, plus modes, plus reward drops, mobility course competition, and then we're going to get the beta code giveaways. So that's going to be all included on that specific day. And then on the same day, early access is going to go ahead and start for the beta, and this will include the campaign mission Entrenched, which generally most campaign missions are around 12, 15, 20 minutes, somewhere in that mix if it's a decent enough Call of Duty game. And then we're going to get multiplayer maps. We're going to get Rooftops, Silkworm, Transit 213, Cache, I think that's how that's said, or Cachette, I don't know, Lotus, and then we're going to get that gunfight map, Kill Block. So multiplayer modes is going to include TDM, Domination, Hardpoint, Kill Confirmed, Inflation, which is probably a new mode, and then we get Search and Destroy, Kill Block, which is going to be the 10v10 and 3v3 variants, and then you're going to get access to the mobility course. This will be on Xbox, PlayStation, Steam, Xbox PC, as well as Battle.net. So those are going to be those specific ones. And why I point that out is because when we get to the second set of gaming, we're going to have a new one in there, which is going to be Nintendo. So open beta for the second opportunity. That's going to go 3 days later. So you got until August 25th. 3 days later, we're going to get campaign mission. Still the same for the people that didn't get a chance to play that. Multiplayer maps will still be Rooftop, Silkworm, Transit, Cachette. Lithium gets added, and then Kill Block. So it looks like Lotus will be swapped out for Lithium, so you won't be able to try that out if you miss out on the first weekend, if you really care about the one map. And then they're also going to add Ground War maps, which is going to be Combat Outpost, Imgym Farmland, and Wolves Stadium. So that, whatever the heck that means. Then Warzone Resurgence Zodiac will be playable. Multiplayer modes will be Hijack, Combat Outpost, Team Deathmatch, Domination, Hardpoint, Kill Confirmed, Inflation, Search and Destroy, Kill Block, 10v10, 3v3 again, and the mobility course. But then now on the platform side, Switch 2 will be part of that. So I don't know if I'll get a Switch 2 just to see what that COD plays like. So play exclusive campaign mission, cool. And then we get the new Resurgence map, Zodiac. And you get a little bit of a glimpse of what that looks like there. It also looks like they replied to someone. It says new big map coming. And then Infinity Ward says yes, which I believe is hopefully different than the DMZ map. So that could even be a little bit more distinct. Because Hodgen will be specifically DMZ, and then Warzone can kind of have its own thing, which is cool. They're finally talking about Warzone. I was pretty confident that we'd get some Warzone stuff in season 1, but there it is. I think the biggest thing that with this is interesting is, of course, we get multiplayer, which is kind of expected. The devs utilize that as both a marketing tool and an opportunity to fix some bugs and maybe see some server side issues, spawns, weapon balance, movement. They could actually get a bunch of data from that information and implement minor changes into the final version of the game that we get in October. For Warzone, it's a little bit riskier in a sense. You still get all that data, but then you also get the reception of the mode because it could be as simple as that's it when we get it, or it could be like, oh my God, this is amazing, I can't wait. But either way, it's pretty risky to throw it out there, so they must be pretty confident because I'm pretty sure it'll be completely different systems than maybe we have currently with wall jumping and that type of stuff. I think it'll be more grounded, at least. I haven't had a chance to see it or play it or anything like that. This is the first we're hearing of it concretely. And then you got campaign, which basically none of the information they could get from campaign. It's like the server doesn't matter, the weapon balance, spawn, like none of that information is necessary. So that is purely marketing tool. And the fact that they're throwing it out there is at least they're very confident in this mission to be used as a selling point, because that's what it is. They're designed for you to try it, go, damn, this is good, I want to play the rest of it, especially with what happened with MW3 and BO7's campaigns, which were dreadful and put a hard stain on the game. I think having this mission out there early, people can go, okay, I get the vibe, the graphics are insane, this and this, and then they'll just hype themselves up, even though it's a small sample size. And when we get early access to the campaign, people may be more likely to just jump in, get the campaign, play the campaign out, maybe multiple runs on harder difficulties, getting platinum or whatever the hell they want to get on it, and then you're good to go. And I think this is another drastic shift in what we've already talked about when it comes to Call of Duty, is that they have to do multiple things differently this year to start regaining some of the trust that they obliterated over the years, and especially IW during the MW2 cycle, which we've talked in length on. It really shows off their level of confidence that they have. And that's not to say that guarantees that the game's going to be good just because they're confident. But after this beta, we'll be pretty informed on what the game is all about, how it's going to play. Everyone will have their hands on it, whether you play in the first window or both windows or just in the second window. We'll know about all kinds of things that we wouldn't have known otherwise. And they seem pretty confident to be throwing out the Warzone side of it as part of the beta, which is cool. That was what was majorly missing from last year's Next. At least this time players will be able to play about it. And like I said, this is the transparency we wanted. We'll be able to get all kinds of information that people really want before they purchase their game, because they're like, oh, I don't want the cartoony this, I don't want the crazy this, I don't want the whatever this, and this, you'll just be able to play it. And they're giving us multiple modes and that they don't typically do. Normally most betas are kind of streamlined and they're very limited. It'll be interesting to see kind of how many levels we can get out of the beta and stuff like that. Although none of that stuff transfers over, it's more just get your hands on the game and see your overall perception. Unfortunately, is brutal for BO7's mid-season update, because Zombies drops a new map the day before, and that's going to get overshadowed by all this. Hopefully it's a good hunt on the day before, and maybe they make some adjustments so it even comes out earlier. I don't see that being the case, but it's unfortunate for that. Because I know there's people that want to grind out the zombie stuff, but then also the beta is limited time. So I guess we'll see how that works. We'll get an opportunity to see what Ricochet's like. I think that's another opportunity. We have the weekly post probably coming up pretty soon. Hopefully we'll see it. But this is one of the concerns that a lot of people have, especially in the second weekend where it's open and people can download the game for free without having to have some kind of pre-order token or token to get access to the game. So I think that's going to go a long way in finding out for some people. I'm sure people will post immediately in their first match that they ran into a cheater or this and that, but we'll see how the response is around that. And what I will be personally testing is going through all kinds of stuff. I'm going to be gathering more B-roll than I think I've ever gathered in an early access period, especially since Next will be at home. We'll have an opportunity to record a ton of stuff related to movement, gunplay, TTK, spawns, matchmaking, kill block stuff, Warzone stuff, the new Zodiac stuff. I mean, there's so many things. We'll be able to see what the servers are like. I don't know. Seems pretty good. And I'm pretty hyped for it. If you're interested in following along with all that information, make sure you do like and subscribe on the post so you'll be able to find your way back. Because sometimes even if you're subscribed, you won't get recommended the video. It's kind of odd how YouTube works now. And I'm happy where the game's at. Although giving us early access, it could be a huge flop. I feel as though they're fairly confident and they're not afraid to put as much out there as they can to really see what the players' opinions are and if the gameplay will speak for itself, because that's what it needs to do. So I'm looking forward to that. See you on the next one. Thank you for watching. As always, have a great day.